my great pleasure to welcome you online for this new MedCruise podcast. MedCruise Insider is your space, a platform where our port and associate members can share the latest activities, news, and development with the entire cruise industry. We are here to foster collaboration, highlight innovation, and bring valuable insights from the art of the Caribbean and beyond. So, speaking of beyond, for this first episode, we are sailing to the Atlantic, from mainland to islands, navigating green innovation with our guests from Cabo Verde, Lisbon, Leixões, and Madeira. So if you have any questions for them, please type them in the chat section. I will open the floor at the end of the session. So let's start with our guest from Cabo Verde. Good morning, Bruno Fortes. You are manager of the Mindelo Cruise Terminal Works. You're attending with our dear board member, Gilson, Cruz, director of the board of directors at ENAPOR. Cabo Verde has a major ongoing development at Porto Grande, the Mindelo Cruise Terminal, an ambitious project set to position Cabo Verde as a premier cruise destination. So, Bruno, my first question was, what made Mindelo an ideal location for this strategic investment in tourism in Cabo Verde? And then if you can show us how the project is structured both technically and financially.
Good morning, Anne-Marie. Good morning, everyone. Yes, indeed, we have a nice project going on. We will be very pleased to share with you. If I'm allowed just to share our screen quickly, very quickly, so everybody can follow us.
Yes, please.
Okay, can you see?
Not yet. We can see your screen, but okay, we're good.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Well,
go ahead.
Yes, indeed, going on with Mindelo Cruise Terminal, just showing a project overview very quickly. Mindelo, it already offers excellent conditions of entry and shelter for any type of vessel, the natural bay of Porto Grande, which is considered one of the most beautiful bays in the world, okay? The port is already compliant with international regulations in terms of safety, the ISPS code regulation, and it's certified by our maritime authorities. The construction of a new cruise port and terminal allow us to sectorize the port, having all passengers operations in the same zone, separating for all other operations like containers, fishing, general cargo, etc. So within the new master plan, we decided to rehabilitate in an existing area of the port to give better conditions to cruise vessels and passengers, providing an upgrade in comfort, in security, and fulfilling a little bit the Cape Verdean way to well receive our guests. If you see the picture here, you already received cruises, but we don't have a dedicated port and terminal for that. This is a situation that we have. It's not often, but sometimes we happen to have even 3 calls on the same day. So we started with a project with 3 components. Component 1, mainly procurement for employer representative and contractor, which is concluded. The component 2, which is almost concluded, construction. And a component 3, which is the cruise destination development plan. We will talk about it a little bit further if possible. And we have 2 functional stages, obviously. We have an implementation phase while the construction is ongoing, and then we will start with the operation and maintenance, putting together the hardware, which is the infrastructure, together with a plan, so we can achieve the goals, the increase in our demand, in the demand for more calls in our ports. The project itself is supported by 3 entities: the government of Cape Verde, a fund from the Netherlands, from Invest International, or your fund, and the OPEC Fund for International Development, okay? Each one supports different parts of the project.
Okay, so you were talking about construction and equipment. So what are the most significant infrastructural upgrades being introduced in the projects? Could you walk us through the timeline?
Yes, indeed, we can start saying that, okay, this is being developed by a contractor, which is a Portuguese company and Cape Verdean company, okay? The project is more or less 26.5 million euros. According to the FIDIC Silver Book, it's a turnkey project. And it started with, it consists in the construction of a new quay, a jetty with 400 meters length in 20 meters width of platform, what we call the land bridge, is more or less 3,000 square meters. Okay, we have some dredging works for access channel to the new port, to the new pier. We rehabilitated also an old fishing quay that we had here. It wasn't being used, and we are dedicating it more to small pleasure vessels, okay, sports fishing vessels. And obviously also we made some protection for these maritime infrastructures. This is completed with the maritime signaling, obviously, to give enough safety instruments to the ships coming here.
Of course.
Calling for the ships, we have possibility of two berths, okay? One big vessel, 350 meters in our north berth, and our south berth is up to 250 vessels, okay? According to our estimates, we are prepared to receive a fleet of cruise ships. We know they are getting bigger, but we'll have margin to accommodate them, okay? Beside that, we have the landside works, where we build a new terminal, a new passenger building. We have some transportation area also attached to it, providing the services right when the guests come and the exit. They already have tour guides, taxis, buses waiting for them. Okay, this is designed in an open space scenario. We can adapt it according to our operations. We have some movable walls that we can adapt and have two simultaneous operations, like embarking, disembarking, or if we need just one operation using the full space, okay? Obviously, having also another combinations of configuration in order to serve any kind of other events. For our colleagues in Porto, is the same architect that made the cruise terminal in Porto, in Leixões, so they are more familiarized with the idea. Okay, this is the current status that we have of the works, okay? We expect to have the works delivered by next month. Okay, this is the construction side of things as we are now, Anne-Marie. Can you still follow us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now yes.
I'm sorry, I've been disconnected. Oh my gosh, sorry. Bruno, so in terms of construction, a key priority of the project is ensuring that construction and operation follow sustainable practices. What measures have you been taking for this?
We have implemented with the project an environmental and social focus, okay, with some environmental and social management plan. It's found in our own laws, international guidelines, some surveys made, and this gave us our ESMPs for both phases, construction and operation, which provide the necessary actions for monitoring, mitigation measures, and to ensure also the health and safety of our workers and the population we might affect with the works. It goes on through the monitoring of different environmental aspects like water quality, biodiversity, hazardous and non-hazardous waste, traffic, all kinds, but also taking order and surveying some with some actions on the social side, like we made some sections in schools about the awareness campaign for road safety. Okay, we know we will increase the heavy vehicles circulation in the streets, so we went to schools and alert the kids to be aware. We make some public presentations also for all the population in São Vicente and in another island that is close by in San Pantão, keeping this focus on the social side and the environmental side on the project all along the construction, and we aim to pursue it also in the operation phase.
Bruno, the Mindelo Cruise Terminal is also preparing for the implementation of a PS system. How is the infrastructure being designed, and which capacity of connection will you reach at the end?
Yes, great question, Anne-Marie. In fact, yes, following this environmental focus, we also had, this is not something that was original in the project, but we had the possibility to incorporate it because we have been selected for a study supported by the World Bank for insulated countries like the Mauritius, Seychelles, and Cabo Verde, and go on. And we were able to adapt our structure to increase the thickness of our slab in the jetty in order to accommodate 20 ducts, okay? Is the red pipe you see in the image in the bottom right?
Okay. Yeah.
We were able to raise the thickness of our slab to accommodate these ducts in order to prepare for the installation of the OPS system, meaning we won't have the OPS running as we start the operations in the new terminal, but we won't have to do construction works when we have for the next stage of the system, which is the construction of the transformation station, cabling, and installation of the equipment, okay?
Okay.
This is more or less what we had, work we have done. We have put some on land and in the maritime side. We have the ducts running from the entrance of the yard until the last 50 meters of the pier. And this will have the capacity. We are aiming to have the capacity for 16 MVAs to be compliant with the standard, the EIS 8051, power for cruises. And if we want to say, we are now more or less where you see the dotted purple line here in the schematic drawing on the left, on the top left, okay?
Okay.
This next stage, we are preparing it together with the national supplier of energy, because we won't have the capacity for all this demand. We have to work together for this next step, okay?
Okay. And beyond infrastructures, your project includes as well a cruise destination development plan aimed at strengthening Cabo Verde position as a leading cruise destination. So with this plan, what are your main objectives and which actions and indicators are you considering?
Yes, indeed. And this is why we keep saying that it's the project, it's not just a construction work, it's a project because it has different stages and different phases. We are in the phase 2 with the construction. We are now entering, we already started with the phase 3. More or less, this is how the cruise segment has been developing in our country. This is numbers, okay, for all the countries, for all the 9 islands we have. We had some increase noted in 2018, 2019. We were impacted by the pandemic, obviously, as everyone else, but we are recovering in the steady pace. Yeah. We already received cruises in our islands. This is a map we have here. We have 9 inhabited islands, 9 ports, and all of them we receive cruises, obviously with different sizes and segments. If you see Mindelo, which is Porto Grande, already covers more than 30% of our cruise sector. We receive different type of calls. We receive, okay, Atlantic calls. We receive inter-islands, around the world, transatlantic, all come from different companies also. And with this infrastructure, we aim also to improve not just the facilities, but also to improve the experience, the guests, the cruise companies, the crew who circles around this sector to have in Cabo Verde. Okay, we want to grow, yes, our destination. We want to establish ourselves in the cruise network to improve shore activities, because we think that this plan will allow us to have the best outcome of our project. Okay, it's not just make the port, but how to be more efficient in the use of our port.
And to create an ecosystem, yes.
Yes, and this will be through the plan. We will prepare the plan. We are now in the phase of preparing the plan, which will have cruise tourism action plan, business-to-business marketing plan, business-to-consumer marketing plan, a development of awareness. When we call awareness, it's awareness also from the society, okay, for them to be aware of the opportunities that the cruise sector might present for them. Because we need partners. We are a port, we will remain a port. We need our partners in the society to provide experience for our guests. We can't work alone.
Of course.
With the plan, we will have the implementation, okay? We will organize our operations in the cruise terminal. We will participate in intervention fairs. We have promotional material duly established with the Tourism Institutes also of Cape Verde. We will do some qualification and training for tour guide, taxis, okay, everyone that might be dealing with guests. And we will have obviously annual monitoring. We need monitoring to see if the plan is being implemented well or not. In terms of indicators, we will work with number of cruise ship calls, number of passengers embarking, satisfaction of crew, satisfaction of the passengers, satisfaction of cruise lines. They have statistical database in order to guide our next steps, all coordinated with the port, with the society, with the agencies, with everyone, so that our product might be sustainable first, because we want to offer the best experience in Cape Verde, but also having everyone on board. We are already working. We are working with Global Ports Holding. It was selected in the international public tender. Global Ports Holding brought together 5 cents, and we are already in the stage. They made some site visits. We are already in the stage of collecting information, providing the picture of what we have now, establish the next steps, so that when we start our cruise season in October, we might be able to start implementation of the plan, aiming to have a really good experience when guests and everyone come to Cape Verde. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Bruno, because you have an amazing project, and thank you for sharing us this project this morning. I wish you all the best and all the success deserved by Mindelo Cruise Terminal project. Thank you. And we are leaving now Cabo Verde to Leixões and Porto Cruise Terminal with Marta Salemos, Head of Marketing and Communication. Good morning, Marta. And Hugo Lopes. And Hugo Lopes, Director of Development and Sustainability at APDL, Leixões Port Authority. Marta, cruise activity at the Porto Cruise Terminal has been continuing its remarkable growth in recent years. You have reached new historical highs in 2024. So please tell us more about the cruise activity in Leixões. It's getting really, really dynamic.
Yes, good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank MedCruise and Anne-Marie in particular as we have been invited for this very first podcast. It's an honor to be here. As for your question about the growth of cruise activity at our terminal, yes, it's absolutely true. We have grow in Port Cruise Terminal. Hugo, can you change? Thank you. The Port Cruise Terminal is the gateway for north of Portugal, Porto and north of Portugal destination. Is located 8 kilometers far for city center, for the Porto city center in an urban area. And we have seen remarkable growth, especially when it comes to both passengers and calls. Hugo, can you change, please? In 2024, we recorded an increase of 31% in calls and 32% in passenger numbers. We had 196,000 passengers and 152 calls. And in 2025, we are expecting a new increase in cruise activity, mainly in turnaround operation, as we'll have around 10 turnarounds, and 5 of them will have around 2,000 passengers each. This continuous growth highlights the terminal's growing importance in the cruise industry. For the first time, we became the third Portuguese port in cruise activity. But I would like to emphasize the innovative nature of our terminal. It as you can see, it's not just a terminal, but it's also a multifunctional building that serves as a hub for different activities. Behind this iconic design, as you can see, and the architectural value, this place has been a vibrant and dynamic location throughout the year. It's a headquarter of CIMAR, it's the International Research Center of the Sea, where the University of Porto get together all the research areas linked to the sea cluster. Around 300 investigators work daily on the terminal. But it's also a venue where we host various events and service that improve the experience for both the cruise passengers, but also the local community. During 2024, Hugo, can you change, please? During 2024, oh no, sorry.
Yeah.
We had 120 events, such as conferences, photo shooting, gala dinners, etc. And also thanks to its architectural value, the terminal is itself a tourist attraction today. It is open for visits on Sundays, but every day by request. In 2024, we had 23,000 visitors in the terminal. So this multifunctional building is also a vital connection between the port and the local community, which is very important, and it was an aim for this project. As we have exhibitions, concerts, and guide visits, etc., it's nowadays recognized by the community as the living room of the city, intensifying the link between the port and the surround area. So the growth we are experiencing at our terminal reflects the increased demand for cruise tourism, of course, as well as the strategic vision we have for the terminal. We look forward to continue this journey and contribute to increase in the cruise industry in the years to come. However, keeping always in mind the sustainability issues, and that Hugo Lopes will talk about. Thank you once again for this opportunity.
Thank you, Marta, and thank you for the connection. Yes, we're gonna dive into sustainability with Hugo. Hugo, good morning again. So APDL has set an ambitious energy transition roadmap towards carbon neutrality by 2035 with sustainable development goals. So by implementing this roadmap, you have defined the path forward to achieving climate and energy neutrality of your port. Can you describe the challenges you can face as a new urban port, as Marta said, and your action plan to achieve carbon neutrality, actually?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, good morning, Anne-Marie, and to all the audience. Thank you very much for MedCruise for inviting us to participate in this podcast. So before addressing your question, let me state just sustainability is key in any 21st century company. So as an urban port, Leixões, that we see in the middle, was born more than 130 years ago. And of course, that along with this capacity was adapting with the years, and we had to overcome a lot of difficulties and challenges in the past. So to keep operating and growing required, of course, in the past, a huge effort to take efficiency to another level, as the city also naturally growing. And this is happening again. So it's the story of our life. So the city is growing, our demand is growing, and of course we need to adapt and we need to establish and to cope with the new goals that are appearing each day. So as a city port, and this city port relationship is a daily challenge in an era that we know where that resilience is playing the real difference. And so just to give you in a glance what we have been developing in these last years. So since since 2006, we decided we had to develop our sustainability report. And why? Because we need to keep this harmonious and healthy relationship with the surrounding city. And we understood that this would be the first step towards that specific goal. So this sustainability report, as I said, started in 2006. By 2015, with the UN SDGs that published, we adapt this sustainability report. And more recently, in last year, we started to update our reports in order to cope with this new directive that you all know, the CSRD directive. That in I'd say in the last week or last 2 weeks, this omnibus was presented, and so this is going to postpone the implementation of the CSRD directive at our port in several companies also. So, but besides this change, or at least this postponed objective, we will keep our path and try to adjust our sustainability reports towards this new directive in order to cope with the best practices we can. Just to give you a little bit of context, so the challenges that the Green Deal imposed, and later on the Fit for 55 package, we as a urban port, we decided that we had to rethink our strategic approach in order to cope with these goals and define this as an objective. And we had it, I would say, an extra desire. We would like to keep our port in the lead of decarbonization among Iberian and South Europe ports. So we add to this carbon neutrality objective what we call the self-sufficiency in energy. Okay, so we would like to be not only carbon neutral, but also self-sufficient from the point of view of energy. Okay, so it was in this context that we designed our roadmap, as you just mentioned, to achieve this goal, not in 2050, but in 2035. So 15 years before the Green Deal milestone. We know this is ambitious. We like ambition. We like challenges. And so this is what we are trying to cope with. Okay, so this roadmap, of course, has a set of plans, a set of initiatives that are looking forward to achieve this carbon neutrality by 2035.
Okay, so yes, you told it's ambitious. So let's now look at an action plan in more detail. So we're going to start with decarbonization and electrification of port activities and terminals.
Yeah, exactly. So we decide to define, just to make it easy for people to understand, we decide to define our roadmap as like a strategic house. Okay, so basically we have on the bottom what we call the basis of our development. So basically what we know is, from the point of view of emissions at the port, more than 75% of those emissions come from, of course, from the vessels. So we need to solve that problem, and that problem is going to be solved, of course, with onshore power supply systems. Okay, yeah. The main challenge of that is that the power that we have in the port is not enough, and so we have to solve that. I'm going to point out in the next couple of slides what we are doing about it. Okay. On the second level, we have these renewable energies. So renewable energies is absolutely fundamental for us to achieve the self-sufficiency that we would like to cope with. So I'm going to point out what are the basic projects that we are involved in. We are, of course, monitoring alternative fuels, and we are participating in different pilot projects in order to study and to analyze and to prove the efficiency of these alternative fuels. As we know, not everything can be electrified, so we need to adjust our fleet and adjust our strategies in order to cope with that challenge. And of course, then we have digitalization and monitoring and air quality supply. So going straight into your question, so decarbonization and electrification, what are we doing about it? So basically, I'm going to point out some of the initiatives. I'm not going to be exhaustive, but just to point out some of the ideas that we think could be useful, not only for us, but also for other ports. So the first initiative that we implemented was we prohibit all trucks to enter the port. So basically, by 2023, we decided, and this was of course aligned with the Association of Truck Industry, we defined that we are going to prohibit the Euro 1 and Euro 2 trucks to enter the port. Okay, so this was back on 2023. In 2024, we prohibit Euro 3 and 4. This means that from last year, only Euro 5 and Euro 6 trucks can enter the port, so the most efficient ones. And this, of course, was I would say a quick win, because we reduced in a very important way the emissions of trucks inside of the port. Just to give you an idea, we have more than 1,500 trucks per day in the port, and so this was the first measure that we took. Okay, along with that project, we also invested on a pilot project with an electrical truck that you can see in the image. And also we acquired 2 new tugboats. Okay, these new tugboats with scrubbers reduced dramatically also the sulfur oxide emissions at the port. And with that, of course, we are monitoring it with our environmental stations that we have in the port. Just a small project that we can see here that was very fruitful with this electrical truck, and with this I would say this strategy that we had to bring electrical trucks to the port. Last year we started this operation with IKEA that is doing all these last mile logistics with a truck from the company Keylog, okay, in our port. So it was the first electrical truck operating, I would say, in a daily basis in the port, okay, in and out of the port. Okay. On a second dimension, we have, of course, the equipments at the port. So on the equipments of the port, we have a lot of them that are already electrical, but there are some that are not. Basically, we are talking about the forklifts, the ridge takers, and the cranes. And to give the example, we are changing all our fleet. More than half of our fleet is already hybrid or electric. Okay, so we are trying to make this path of change. And one important that is highlighted in green in the picture, one of the important projects that we implemented was also our EcoBus. Okay, so we acquired an electrical bus that's operating in our cruise terminal. Okay, and bringing the tourists from the terminal to the city. Okay, and this is just a small step, of course, is just to show our commitment towards this decarbonization strategy. Okay. We are also studying and we are developing this pilot with eco bunkers. So we have a lot of course, vessels. In this case, is a tug that are old. They cannot be electrified, but they can use greener fuels. So we are using a biodiesel B20 emissions reduction fuel that is operating in the port with very good results. Okay. Going to electrification, and I will try to be very, very fast on this pinpoint of ideas. Yeah, I know that time is very important here. So just pinpointing the basic projects. Of course, as I told you before, we don't have enough power in the port to solve the supply of vessels. So to give you an idea, we have 7 MVAs of power implemented in the port today, but to feed up all the vessels in the port, we need 65. So from 7 to 65, this is the main challenge, okay? So in 2030, we only need to have it ready for the cruise, of course, terminals and for the container terminals. This is what we are developing now. So for that, we are building a new high voltage substation, okay, with 65 MVAs. We are upgrading our medium voltage network, okay? And we are implementing, as I said, OPS systems on the containers and on the cruise ships, mainly on the cruise ships. It's going to be the first one. The cruise ship is going to be the first one that is going to be solved. Okay, this is an investment of more than 45 million euros. Okay, so it's a huge investment that we are doing, and for that we need, of course, all the industry, and I use this platform also to contact the companies to say that it's very important for us to have visibility about what is the strategy of the main companies that operate in our terminal. Okay, this is very important for us to align these strategies. Okay, going to the renewable energies very fastly. Okay, so again, we are starting with a project on solar. Okay, 1 megawatt solar is going to be implemented in the next couple of months. So we are starting the project, not the project, but the implementation of the project in the next couple of weeks. We are studying the implementation of a new wind turbine at the port. So a 5 megawatts turbine is being studied to be implemented at the port. We have a pilot project with a company called EcoWave Power in the Douro River, and we have also recently joined a renewable energy community. So with all of these sources, we will be able in the next couple of years to produce more than 35 gigawatts hour per year in our port. This is a huge challenge for us, and it's very important because today we have a consumption of roughly 15 gigawatts hour per year. So this is more than enough to solve our problem today. But we know that for feeding the vessels, we need extra energy. So we need to keep this investment on renewables, okay? On alternative fuels, very fastly. So we have this project on biodiesel for our tugboats. We are in a project studying green methanol, okay, and we are monitoring also ammonia and of course hydrogen to understand exactly what is going to be the I would say the fuel of the future, okay. On top of that, of course, the environmental monitoring is absolutely fundamental. Okay, we have a lot of pressure, as you know, on our communities to monitor this. Yeah, we all have. So we need to monitor it. We are upgrading every year. We install more sensors. The idea is to have a very dense array of sensors. Okay, and along with this sensoring, we are also developing digital tools for it. Okay, we have recently joined a platform that is called the Ocean Scores platform, and we are monitoring the emissions at the port on each terminal and per vessel and per typology of cargo. We have that information not on real time, but monthly we have this report of what is happening at the port. Okay, and we also doing something very interesting. That is, we are developing a tool to give us the stamp on the footprint of cargo. Okay, so for each cargo, we are going to know exactly what was the footprint of that cargo by being operating in the port. And this is, of course, valid for cargo, general cargo, but can be also adapted as for cruise. Okay, we can know for passenger, for example, what was the footprint of that operation. Okay, and well, this is what we have from the point of view of environmental.
This is really interesting, and you have just mentioned digitalization. We know how digitalization will shape the port of the future. What is your own vision at Leixões Port Authority about it?
Okay, so first of all, to say that we know, of course, that the ports of the future need to be resilient. Okay, and to be resilient, we know that digitalization will strongly contribute for that. Okay, so as a space-limited port, we need to be efficient. We had to be in the past, and we had to be in the future. Okay, just to give you an example, the main gateway of the port was one of the most important milestones, not only physically but also digitally from the port. This results in what? So basically, in 2008, we removed all the entrances from the port to one main entrance, and that main entrance connects in the dedicated corridor. All the trucks that go in and out of the port, they are connected directly to the main highways of the region. Okay, so this was a huge step for us. Okay, and why am I talking about an infrastructure, the physical infrastructure, to talk about digitalization? Because to make it fast, what we have done in the past was we removed all the paper from the process. Okay, so everything went digital at that time. Okay, so we were quite pioneer at that time, and that change promoted a very strong reduction on the time that every truck took to enter and to exit the port. Okay, to give you an idea, our average values for entrance time is below 11 minutes, and to enter and out of each truck is below 1 hour. So basically 59 minutes is our average time last year. So this could not, well, most of people could not be very sensitive to this value. Okay, but I can give you the idea that this is really challenging, and this is a very good result. Okay, so since then, digitalization has always been on our priority list. The port single window, now the logistics single window. We have a 5G project. We have automation projects. We are developing our digital twin. We have the project of a new data center. Well, we have accomplished a lot. Okay, but there is still a lot to be done. Okay, give you just a glance on the future. What we see is that we need to be efficient. We need to be sustainable. We need to be self-sufficient, and we need to get and achieve carbon neutrality. Okay, with an improved air quality and with a stronger connection with the community, we know that we could succeed in the future, okay? Because as we know, there is a lot of pressure on ports that are very close to cities, okay? So we need to be very efficient to solve that, okay? So we are improving our array of environmental sensors, as I just mentioned. We are developing and implementing tools to measure our emissions and cargo footprint. We are designing multiple monitor grids, energy grids, using IoT, LoRaWAN equipments, AI, HR, blockchain, smart grids, but a lot of the things. And in the last sentence, I would say that our vision for APDL in 2035, in 3 words, would be an urban, intelligent, and sustainable port, aiming to be an international reference port in the Southern Europe. That's all.
Thank you so much, Hugo, because it was really interesting to dive into the port of the future review. Thank you so much. And now we are taking the southern route towards the port of Lisbon, where Ana Lourenço, Cruise Manager, and Duarte Cabral, General Manager of Lisbon Cruise Port, are waiting for us. Ana, Duarte, good morning.
Good morning, MedCruise friends. Thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation, Anne-Marie. It is an honor to be here to present the last developments in Lisbon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, because 2024 was Lisbon year, certainly thanks to a strategic vision focused on innovation and sustainability, like we have seen with Porto before. The Port of Lisbon recorded its best ever operational results in cruise tourism. It was awarded Best Cruise Destination in Europe and Best Cruise Terminal in Europe. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's true. That's true. 2024 was really a record year. And we record the cruise calls, passenger calls, turnaround calls. It was really a good year. And I think that this is happening because, of course, cruises activity is growing in Europe. But in Lisbon, we have a strong community, port and terminal operator, and also all the other stakeholders in Lisbon. So these are the results of long time of work. So I'm going to make the presentation. Then Duarte is going to show you some of the most important figures. Can you see the screen?
Yes, please. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Please, Duarte, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Duarte Cabral. I'm the General Manager for Lisbon Cruise Port. As Anna said, we work very closely with the Port Authority in order to bring the best experience, not only for the passengers, but also for the cruise lines. So just give you a fast idea of the evolution of the cruise calls in Lisbon. So when we started the concession in 2014, we had 152. Okay, this is the numbers from the concession, because we started only in August. So this is why it's 152. Anyway, 2015 we started growing until COVID, but I think this is general for all the cruise ports.
Sure.
And then what we have seen, and I think this is a general trend, is that we recover faster than the general tourism in Lisbon. So 2022 was already a good year, better than 2019, and then all the way up to 2024 with 369 calls, and in yellow you'll see our expectation for 2025. Anna, please. In terms of cruise passengers, the same growth. The last 2 years, as you've seen, you can see the growth has been minimum, 1%, etc. But the good news is that, Anna, please, we are going to increase in 2024 our percentage of turnaround passengers, which for us is the main goal, as this was the objective behind building this new cruise terminal in 2017. So we expect almost 28% of our passengers to be disembarking in Lisbon. Mainly, we're talking about American Canadians passengers. Anna, please. Okay, so
Anne-Marie, you have your micro muted.
Thank you so much, Anna. Yes, so thank you for those figures, Duarte. Anna, in 2024, the Port of Lisbon made also significant achievements in sustainability, including first, as we can see on your screen, an OPS project expected by 2029. Which phase of the project are you at right now?
So our OPS project started during pandemics with the technical studies, and we are in phase 1. So we have the same problem as in Porto. Hugo Lopes was talking about the energy, the high voltage energy that we don't have in the port. So at this time we are finishing the project with the local, the national electricity provider to connect the energy, the high voltage energy to the port. So to build the infrastructure. What you see in red, the line that comes from the city center to the port is the infrastructure for the high voltage energy. It's around 4 kilometers. So the construction time will take around 37. Well, all the phase will take around 37 months. And at the same time as the construction of the infrastructure, we will be building the substation. That the main substation will be located in the terminal. The image you see, it's the project of the architect. So the terminal building is a project of a Portuguese architect, Carrilho da Graça, and we asked him to design the substation, and he made a very interesting project. And the substation will be connected with the community because it can be visited in the future.
That's nice. To involve the community.
Yeah, because the terminal is really in the city center. We need to involve the community with us. So the project altogether will be concluded in 2029. Phase 2 will be installed the shoreside stations and the cable management system. We don't know yet how it's going to be, if it's going to be concession, if it's going to be the Port Authority. Well, we don't decided yet. The investment will be 50 million, around 50 million to install the system. So it's really a very, very huge investment. But we have already some funding from PAX. And of course, we are waiting for a success in this project.
We've just mentioned the involvement of community. We all know that sustainability is not just about technical infrastructure. Can you explain us what is Cruises for Community? Actually, is innovative program you initiated last year. What does it involve?
Yeah, Cruises for Community comes from the need that we feel to reconnect local with the port. We are very apart. Communities are apart from the port. All ports, having the ports located in the cities are having some issues. And so we need to educate, we need to involve community, and this is the goal of this program. We've started last year, so the idea is to bring together cruise companies with local community, with some actions that can be done by the passengers or the crew, and or even by the companies themselves, and to help local institutions. So we started last year. The pictures you see, it's a beach cleaning by Britannia crew. We had also from Queen Anne a crew that went to the beach to do a beach cleaning. Also, we are in solidarity associations, and the idea is to give some help to these associations. We want also to work with the companies to make again the cruise ship visits a reality, because we know that before the pandemic, this was a very good experience for local community, and then the ships closed the doors, of course, naturally to the outside people, and now they are willing to open it. So we are finding some groups that will be interested in visiting the ship. Also with the local nautical schools, trying to find protocols and exchange training programs. So This is well what we can imagine. It's not a closed program, and the new initiatives will come for sure.
That's really interesting to involve all the cruise ecosystem with the local communities. Congratulations on that as well.
Yeah, and I can add that when we launched this, and then the news came in the newspapers, and it was good because we were contacted by several entities, some companies and associations, because they felt that this is really good and this could make the difference for all them.
It's worth it.
Very happy with it.
For everyone. Duarte, in October of 2024, an important study was presented by the Port of Lisbon, highlighting the positive impact of cruise activity in the local economy. What did this study reveal or confirm to you? Wait, you are muted. Sorry, Duarte.
Sorry, I'm back. So this study we started doing this study in 2022, and we repeat it again in 2024, because back in 2022, we had the feeling that we did not have hard data to present to the community, to the politicians, to the media, that there was a positive impact from the cruise business in the city. So we asked one of the most important universities here in Lisbon
Yes.
to perform the study. The study was done in two phases. First phase was a passenger survey, and then with this information, it was all the data were collected by the university, and then the economic impact study was performed. So just to give you highlights of the numbers, in 2022, we have average spent per pax was 82 euros, and in 2024, it went up to 159 euros. So we almost doubled the expenditure per pax. And of course, this is mainly due to the turnaround passengers that stayed before and after the cruise in the city. So these are passengers that spent a lot of money in hotels as well. So it's important to pass this message that they are not just coming to the city to take the ship and then exit the ship and go back home. They stay in the city and they enjoy the city. So these are very important numbers that we would like to highlight, not only to the cruise community, but also to the local community in general. Anna, please. So going to the economic impact study, what the numbers revealed is that we have an increased output of almost 2 billion euros, an added value for the local GDP of 800 million euros, almost 320 million euros in tax generated by the cruise activity, almost 21 million jobs created. For each euro spent by a cruise passenger, it generated around 3.57 euros in the local community, and each cruise ship contributes to 2.3 million euros for the local GDP, creates 59 new jobs, and generates almost 1 million euros in tax. These are numbers that we didn't have before and are impressive when we present this to the local politicians, because when we pass this message, they are really impressed with the numbers and they see the activity with a different perspective.
We all need data and figures, of course. Duarte Port and Cruise Terminal have reinforced their commitment also to the best environmental practices. Which implementation or innovation have made Lisbon Cruise Port the best cruise terminal in Europe for the second time? You have a secret.
Okay, this is like the ant work. It's every day you need to work with with the cruise lines, you need to work with to provide the best guest experience inside and outside the terminal. And so, again, this is something that started with the Port Authority before we started. We continue this fantastic work that they did and built on that to create this experience for the cruise lines and for the guests. Anyway, in terms of environmental measures that we are trying to implement, we want to install solar panels in the parking lot. This will help us reduce or to have a self-consumption of 38% of our annual energy needs and sell 36% to the energy community around the terminal. And so we estimate to save around 45,000 euros per year with this measure.
That's impressive, yeah.
In terms of local community, I believe it's very important that we continue to have this dialogue between the cruise ships, the cruise companies, and the local stakeholders. And with that, Anna already mentioned part of it. So we organized visits not only to the cruise terminal, but also inside the ships with schools, local associations. We also want to guarantee that our touristic partners, mainly the ones doing shore excursions, try to be as sustainable as possible. So, for instance, in terms of the tuk-tuks that we sell inside the terminal, all of them are electric, and we want to continue pushing and making efforts for instance, the off operators also to transfer their buses from diesel to electric buses. Of course, this is not easy because there are a lot of technical difficulties for that, but something that we are trying also to press. Other things that we've seen is that all the tourists, and I believe this is similar to other ports, they all want to go to the same places at the same time. So we are trying to work with the municipality to try to spread the cruise tourists not only in the main touristic attractions, but also to other attractions that are very, very nice, but they are not so well known. So we need to create this communication between the cruise lines, guests, and local stakeholders to make sure that the experience when they come to Lisbon is very positive. Also, since we are within the city center, to create local excursions, walking tours, bike tours, to make sure that the passengers have a very good experience and also contribute to reduce the carbon footprint. In terms of waste management, most of the work it's done by the cruise lines already. So they do a lot of effort inside the ship to separate all the types of waste. But when it comes to the pier, Anna, please, and you can see in the next slide, we also try to have certified waste management companies working with us, make sure that the waste that are separated on board goes to the correct places on the land side.
And beyond waste management, air quality is also very important. And last October, another study called Monitoring Air Quality Around the Lisbon Cruise Terminal was published. What was the methodology used to isolate and measure the cruise activity, and which results did the study come to?
So the main issues we have in the port is that people complain about the pollution from the cruise ships, and we wanted to know what is real happening in the port when the cruise ship is here. So we made a full year monitoring for several emissions, and what we've done it with no cruises at the terminal, with the cruise in the terminal, and when the crews are maneuvering. So we have used some sensors from the city, and we also position fixed structures. As you can see here, we have this was in the terminal, and then we used also because we had a modeling a project so that we can work with the winds and with the humidity to get the information as well correct as possible. The conclusions were very, very good. So the main conclusion is that well, the pollution is not significantly changed when a cruise ship is in place in port. So the pollution is mainly from road traffic and emissions, as we already know. Well, we had some changes in the NOx, but when the cruise ship was maneuvering, but of course they're maneuvering at the same time as peak traffic in the city, so it's difficult to separate and to see if it's from the ship or from the pollution. So, well, this was really good, and what we intend now is to make it not early but permanent monitoring. We are working on a project that is Smart Port Lisbon, and the idea is several activities, not only for air quality but for many other issues, and this was really important to have this data because it was a game changing in the public opinion in Lisbon. Because now we have some data, we have real data, and not well talking about so I think that we need to work on this kind of initiatives to make our activity better, and also for us to get information, because it's good to know that if we are polluting or not, and what measures should we take to mitigate all these impacts
and to improve our activities as well. You mentioned it right before. This study was presented during the first meeting of the Committee Sustainability of Cruise Activity in Lisbon. That took place at the Lisbon Cruise Terminal. So what is this partnership? What partnership have you established in this committee, and what are its main goals?
So the committee was created last, and the idea is to get together different national and local stakeholders. So we gather the Lisbon City Council, the Port Agent Association, the CLIA, the Tourism Board, the Lisbon Tourism Board, the Portugal Tourism Board, the National Airline, and also Zero Association is an environmental association, one of the most critical in Portugal. When we see the negative about cruises, generally, or 90% of the news are from the Zero Association.
Okay, and you work hand by hand.
Yes, so we get them to join the committee because we want to have solutions for the problems, and we want to see the activity. We have to have 360 degrees vision of the activity to see all point of views and all the interests that we join and work for a better activity. So the idea is to promote environmental sustainability, economic development, ensure social benefits for local community, and establish strong partnerships. So, well, it's like a forum when we can talk and find some good solution for activity in Lisbon.
Thank you so much, Anna. Collaboration is key. You are totally right. I fully agree with you. So thank you, Anna. Thank you, Duarte, for your presentation, and we learned a lot with you as well. For our last site, Thank you. I will take you to the green ports of Madeira. Madeira, sorry, we are so late, but you're going to have time for a presentation as well, of course, because this is an outstanding year also for Portos de Madeira. They surpassed the milestone of 700,000 passengers for the first time, and the Funchal Cruise Terminal welcomed more than 1 million people in 2024, including both passengers and crew members. And last but not least, Madeira was named the world's most sustainable cruise terminal by World Cruise Awards, recognizing the efforts of APRAM, Ports Administration of the Autonomous Region of Madeira, in advancing environmental sustainability. All of these achievements and many more were accomplished while maintaining a strong focus on sustainability and minimizing the environmental impact of port activities. And we'll dive into everything right now with Carlos Castro, electrotechnical engineer at APRAM. Good morning, good afternoon for me now, Carlos.
Good morning. Good morning. I hope you can hear me because I got stuck in traffic in an airport terminal. So I'm going to start by apologizing for maybe the background sounds.
We can hear you. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. So I will start by just trying to give your presentation here. I believe, can you see the presentation?
Not yet. So I'm gonna start with my first question while you are sharing the presentation.
Yes.
The Madeira ports are strongly committed into environmental sustainability, energy efficiency, and decarbonization through different key projects, especially Green Ports Madeira and Shift to Sea. So we're going to start with Green Ports, which main objective is to study the precondition for the decarbonization of the free ports of Madeira. So we're going to see, yes, now we can see your presentation. So we're going to see which factors you have considered to lay the foundation of Green Ports project. And ultimately, to evaluate the feasibility of implementing OPS.
Is it on full? So sorry, I can see if the president. Okay, no.
Yes.
Well, sorry about this. Well, as you can see today, I'm going to try to talk about two little projects of ours here in Madeira. One of them is the Green Ports. That's one of the great things of being last on doing these presentations is I got to hear all of the other ports presentations, and you see all the great aspects of everybody's doing in their ports. So Madeira, for the first time, like you said, surpassed our 700,000 passengers, and we did about 307 calls this last year. And our projections are very good for the next years. And Green Ports was a study that we did here in Madeira that included our three main ports. We have the Funchal port, that's mainly the cruise ship terminal. And we have another port, is the port of Canissal, that is mainly the cargo. And we have our port of Porto Santo, that is an island that's next to us and has a mixed call. So as everybody has talked about, we are all in this together. So reducing our carbon emissions to 50, reducing 55% to 2030 and achieving the net zero at 2050. That's the main objectives of the Green Deal. And so one of the things that we had to do was the studies on our port. So we started to how do you call it? We had to implement some analyzing the historical statistic of traffic, and we had to forecast what our port would become. So after that, we had one of the parts of the project was for a conceptual design, because Madeira is a a very small port, and we have quite a lot of cruise ships along the year, and all sorts of design conceptions was very difficult to agree with all our constraints, because the space is not is one of our biggest problems.
Okay.
So, as you can see in this slide, we have here in 2023, we're about 600,000 passengers. So last year was a great year also. We got about 700. And our forecast is believed to be in 2050 in our port for about 450 calls. When you consider our size in the small island in the Atlantic, is a very big objective. And also, one of our other big problem is that it is predicted that the ships that are under construction will be larger in capacity, thus being more passengers for an island. So we had to take all these things into consideration, and for that we had also a big problem in our island, is because as you know, Madeira is an outer region, so we're not obligated to have the OPS in our system. But we came to the conclusion, because if we don't have the OPS in our port, we could lose the competitivity in the market.
Of course.
So we were basically in between two hard spots, and so one of the main objectives of this large study, because the Green Ports is not just a study on the OPS, will be mainly focusing on the OPS, but the Green Ports was a study on nearly all the sustainability that we could do in Madeira. After this would be decision making. It would facilitate the decision making, because the Green Ports also inside it. We had an environmental study. We tried and studied the transition of our tugboats and our pilot ships. We did also auto consumption of the whole port as a whole. We did also try to do some conclusions on the port as an energy hub. Also, because because of the Shorex, we have lots of cars coming in, trying to see what we could do to better that. And it's basically more or less that this study focused. But today I'm going to try and see, so you can see a bit of our conclusions, because as a small port, we believe if it can be done here, it could be done anywhere.
Thanks for sharing it. I know you can make it easy because we had a meeting before. So if we go deeper into the technical aspects in how to provide electricity to ships, we can see that shoreside electricity, SSE, covers both OPS, but also shoreside battery charging. Explain us, how does it work? Simply, of course.
Well, we're some of the ports already know, but I believe nearly everybody knows. But we're in the middle of this shoreside electricity, and so shoreside electricity covers both of the OPS, that is the power supplied to the ships at berth, and also has the shoreside battery charging that will be happening when you have your tugboats and all your pilot boats, if they go electric or hybrid, you have to have the capacity also to sustain this power to the ships. So mainly these systems, like our colleagues have done also, we will have a main power station. In Madeira, the power station is a big problem because if we consider that we could have 3 cruise ships at the same time powering up at Madeira, it represents, if we go to the more or less the power that is needed for these big ships. If the 3 of them are powering at the same time, it would be about 33% of the island's capacity.
That's huge.
So it was very huge for us. So also one of the studies that the Green Ports did, it was a study also with our local power company, and the big idea behind this study also was this. We were thinking, well, if the ships kill their engines at birth and they are not doing emissions, but if we have to put another 2 or 3 motors burning fuel, diesel, and another in the power company, so the decarbonization will not happen as it should. So we had to enlist in the help, and they were fantastic in our small Madeira island, but the power company also did the renewable energy study that will be needed for to include the OPS in our power grids as a whole. So basically, the Port of Funchal will be the first client in high power in Madeira, and then we have all the sequential transformers, and also one thing which we had to take in consideration is, if we're making a big investment, we had to make sure that that independently of the ship that berths at Funchal, or if it's a 50 hertz or it's a 60 hertz, we had the capacity of giving that power to the ship. So we took all those considerations into account, and we basically had this diagram that you can see on your screens. That is the conceptual design of the OPS system and the SBC system. So they are very different, but the equipment is more or less the same that we have to have in the port. And one, sorry, you can.
Yeah,
you
no, yes, I was saying, so your scope is the implementation of OPS at the Port of Funchal, so to produce enough electricity for 4 cruise ships at the same time. So
yes.
Can you show us the design of the port and the project timeline?
Yes.
And
I will just
making for this project.
Okay, I will just focus on Funchal because Funchal is the main cruise ship port, so it is the hardest part of the project. Well, here we had to have from the Victoria Thermal power station is where we get our main energy from the island. So we have to have a main cable that is connected directly to our power station that is located in the port. And then the OPS system will be installed in our piers 2, 3, and 6. That's mainly these 2 big ships are our biggest piers, and the other pier 6 is for smaller vessels. And we also consider that we have a ferry, Ro-Ro with Ro-Ro capacity that goes between islands. So we had to consider all the scenarios. The timeline for the project. So we are now finishing our studies. We just finished presented them. They were presented to us end of February. So now we are believing from 25 to 27, we'll try to focus the financing and the capital raising, because as small islands, this will be a governmental decision for us. So it's not just the port's decision. We just have to present all the scenarios, and then the government has to be the decision maker.
Yes, to pick the.
Yeah, and so to 28 to 30, it's predicted for the main construction of all the work. So everything will be finished in 2030. This is a complex building because our port can't stop. So we have to. This was something that we also made a trip to the port of Malta that already has the OPS system installed, and we were talking to the people at the ports, and we had a fantastic meeting. Also, they shared their advice, and one of the main construction, the main problems with the construction is that the port can't stop. So it's gave us something more to think about, of course. And well, this is the scope of the timeline of the project. So everything would be operational about in 2030.
Okay, and then operation, of course.
After all this, we after the project was decided, there was a SWOT analysis. Obviously, we had to do this. We saw the benefits, obviously, of the environmental impact of the project. We saw that this also as an opportunity, and sometimes we were thinking of one of the weak points or threats. Also, was the what would the main cruise ships do in terms of if they were to embrace the OPS system, if they would try new fuels. So, but with our trip to Malta, that was also very interesting to see that they show that the way forward will without a doubt be the OPS. And that was very glad and very nice to see that we are heading on the right direction.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your insight for everyone who is in the right path and the same path as you. Madeira ports are also partner of the very smart shift to the Sea Horizon Europe project. You are with 20 other partners from 10 countries. So this is a project which combines innovation and technology. What is the mission and focus of Shift to the Sea? Oh, you are muted, Carlos. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I think
yes?
You have colleagues around, maybe. No?
Is it? Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear somebody else. That's the reason why I'm trying to figure out who is.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Well,
yes.
as you were saying, we are also involved in the Shift to the Sea project. Shift to the Sea project is a great project. It's a very interesting and innovation project that APRAM was asked to be a part of. It is led by an SKD of Lisbon, is the main coordinator. and it basically is an horizon project that introduced a new way to look at the energy system. I will try to explain it very simply because it has quite a bit of complex things behind. But mainly, the idea is everything that we have, our computers, our laptops, our phones, our chargers, we all they all have DC components in, direct current components in, but you have to have a transformer for them to work because our grid power is AC.
Okay.
So the main thing is to cut out that transformer, and with the massification of PV systems and the electrical cars, that all of them work in DC is a DC system. So for you to give power back to the grid, you have to put an inverter that transforms it back to the AC. One of the best things of the AC power is for transport. It's very good for transporting power at long distance. But when it gets to the small, like in the laptop, you have to have the transformer, so it's not efficient.
Okay.
So the shift to DC is aiming to see if it's possible to focus and reshaping how we think of electric grids, and seeing grids as a mesh network. Or what I mean by this is, if you need energy from another point, and if your car is at home charging, the grid could go to your home and take energy from your car and use it somewhere else.
Okay.
That's one of the that would be capable with the shift to DC, with the DC grid. But this also has quite a lot of challenges. That's why there are quite a lot of companies involved in this project, and it's because all this is innovation, because it has to be constructed cables. The cables are different. The plugs are different. The way you see the energy is different. But it's interesting, and it's a fantastic way to look at the energy in the future.
That's really smart.
Yes.
And how will the project be applied in practice in Madeira port?
That is a great question also. There are 4 big demos. France is doing a demo on a building, a whole building, working on DC power. In Germany, they have 2 major demos also. That's a data center and the industry. And APREM was in Madeira, is the only demo that will be done in Portugal. And has 2 main objectives: is to see if it's feasible because of one of the good things is that it will have an integration between shift to DC and the green ports and the OPS. That is will be interesting to. They will start with a small demo just to see if it's possible to create energy and then use the energy to power up an EV vehicle. We have a crane also that will be powered, and some electrical parts. But they also will do. We will in the finish of the project, we will also have a digital twin of the Port of Funchal. And the digital twin is, for us, or for me as an electrical engineer, is a fantastic tool, so we can tweak our energy demands and see what will happen in the grid, or what will we need in terms of energy in the future, and prepare for that scenario before it happens. And because the OPS will happen, the shift to the sea will also study and see if it's possible to implement this tremendous demand of energy. That's about 33 megawatts, more or less, 33, 34 of power. And let's see if it would be possible to implement this in DC power. That's a very complicated thing to do in the DC power. Of course, they have the security also has to be insured, and all sorts of things. So it's a very interesting time for us here in APREP. We have quite a lot of interesting projects, and now we're just trying to see where where this leads, and trying to each year improve on our port, and thus giving our customers, that's mainly the cruise ship passengers and the cruise ships, the good visit to Funchal.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Carlos. You made it so easy to understand, and I will be pleased to get to know more about the project
We're happy to share.
After the next steps. So thank you to you all. Before we conclude this session, I will be pleased to take questions for my guests. If you have any of them, please, I leave you the floor with great pleasure. Because there were a lot of key elements shared by our guests. So if you have any questions or comments, I can leave you the floor. No questions? No? Okay, so Nikki, if you want to add something before...
I think Ioannis wants to say something. I can see him waving.
Okay, sorry. I haven't seen you raise the hand. Yes, Ioannis, the floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
A bit slow, but we can hear you.
Sorry. I'm having a session on sea trade about the economic impact on destinations. So I will talk with Duarte to get some data for sure. But if anybody else has any data that they want to share for the session, is basically our way to showcasing that cruise produces also positive impact, because obviously this will be documented, as you know, and then spread across. Okay. But send me what info you have, and I will be happy to share on your behalf.
Thank you, Ioannis. Thank you so much for our members. So if anyone has another question, I would like to thank you, my guests from Lisbon, Leixões, Cabo Verde, and Madeira, for having shown how dynamic and committed in a sustainable future is a brand new MedCruise Atlantic region. I will be thrilled to explore all the region of our beautiful association. So if you are a MedCruise member and have a story to tell, feel free to reach me out. I'd love to feature you in an upcoming episode. Let's make waves together. I wish you an excellent week, and I am looking forward to seeing you all very soon in Miami. Thank you so much, and have a great day and week. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.